Hello and welcome, beautiful beings. My name is Eva. What shall we tackle today? I'm feeling inspired to tackle this beautiful pose here and to break down this beautiful shape here. It's known as Pincha Mayarasana. It is a forearm balance. There is the variation of coming into what we call a scorpion pose when the feet touch the head, which requires quite a significant back bend and quite a lot of shoulder and forearm strength. So don't be disheartened by seeing a particular pose and thinking, oh my god, I'm never going to be able to get there. There's always somewhere to go, somewhere to build. So that's what we're going to look at and move through today. So we're just going to move the wrists to begin with. Just move a little into those wrists. You can come onto the knees or in a cross-legged position, just rotating wrists in all directions, noticing the mobility there in the wrists. Really important to get the mobility and movement in the joints of the body. We're going to move to the elbows now, particularly when we move through certain shapes in our practice. Just getting that synovial fluid, lubricating those joints. And then we're going to bring the hands to the shoulders and move into the shoulders, so big circles, trying to get the elbows to touch. Just noticing the mobility in the shoulders. After you've done a few in one direction, just explore the other direction. And then we're just going to reach the arms up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, bring the hands behind your back. Take a little interlock of the hands. You can be on the tops of the feet, you can be cross-legged, you can be on the toes, just whatever works for you, but just open the chest. So you want to draw the two shoulder blades together, lift the chest and chin. For some of us, it's we're not as open across the chest, particularly if we are sitting at a desk, on a computer, at devices, we tend to get this forward folding motion. So taking those breaks and doing this shape here, this pose, sitting on a chair, is a really beautiful way to open the shoulders. You can start to even move the arms away from the body. You can just move a little side to side, chin moving to one shoulder and then the other. And then just release the hands, up, back again. And then as you exhale, find a tabletop position, so you will need to come to hands and knees, untucking the toes. We're going to take some cat-cow. So as you inhale, we arch through the spine, so we're getting that nice, beautiful back bend, pulling the chest through, lifting the chin to the ceiling. Tailbone is lifting, belly is falling. And then on an exhale breath, press the floor away, draw the belly in. So you want your wrists in line with your shoulders, knees under your hips. As you inhale once again, coming into that upward facing cat, also known as cow pose. And as you exhale the breath round into cat, drawing the belly in, tops of the feet and shins pressed. And just continue a few more, noticing how the spine also has that mobility, the movement through the spine, flexion and extension. So you're just working at moving fluidly. And then from here, we're going to bring the forearms to the earth. So just come to neutral. And now stack your elbows directly under your shoulders. So where the heel of the hands is, just place the forearms down on the earth. And then just shift a little forward and back. So you want to feel a little strength here. For some of you, you might need to bring the knees a little further back. You're getting a little stretch there. Now please avoid the elbows winging out. You want to keep the wrists and elbows in one line. So your forearms are parallel to one another and parallel to the long edge of the mat. Spread the fingers wide and just shift a little forward and back. Avoid collapsing through the chest. You want to press nice and strongly through the shoulders, shoulder girdle. So avoid looking back behind. A lot of the time we look at the knees. You want the neck to be long. So just gazing around the top of the mat or towards that direction, shifting forward. Imagining you want to get the chin to the floor. There is a point where the elbows want to splay out. You might want to bring them back in. And then we're just going to slowly come forward and tuck the toes under. And then just walk the hands back to the knees. And then circle the arms out wide. As you exhale, bring the hands once again behind the back. This time the opposite interlock of the hands. So opposite index finger on top, we've got that opposite rung. And then again, lifting, opening the chest a little, raising onto the knees this time. Toes tucked under will give you a little more support. You can have them untucked if you choose. And try to pull the shoulders away from the ears, but lift up through your sternum, your breastbone. So what we want to do is create this length in the lumbar spine and begin to take it back. So eventually we've got that beautiful expansion as we come into perhaps that scorpion shape. A few more breaths, just opening. If you're finding you're struggling to breathe, just assess how far you've come into the shape. You want to come to a place where you're able to maintain a steady rhythm of breath. Just take 3 more slow, steady breaths at your own pace. And you've got to at least be breathing in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 4. It can be longer, but definitely not too much shorter than that. When you complete 3 breaths, if the toes are tucked under, just untuck them. Come to child's pose. Hips sink back to the heels. For some of us, spreading the knees relatively wide will create more space for the belly to melt between the thighs. Bring the hands forward, or if you need extra support, stack a fist or the palms. Or if you've got a block, a yoga block, you can always use that. Just take a few breaths. Stillness or movement might feel nice for your body. So we're going to work downward facing dog into our dolphin. So downward facing dog, we reach the hands forward, come back to hands and knees, bring the knees back under the hips. Just reach the hands just a fraction forward so they're not directly under the shoulders but a little further forward. And then just shift forward so you can tuck your toes under, pick up your knees and take it back into down dog. Just take a little pedal out through the feet, just moving a little into the shape here. And then what we're going to see if we can do is just have a look forward at your elbow creases, and they're no doubt facing one another. So you can turn them up to the ceiling. So you want to roll the shoulders and see if you can just bring the forearms to the earth to where they were before when you were on your knees. And if you need the knees down, just start on the hands and knees, pressing into the hands and working on dropping the forearms and the elbows together. And then you'll start to build from that down dog shape coming into that dolphin shape. So that's where you will begin. So they're the 2 starting positions. Starting here, and then eventually you'll notice that after time you'll build from down dog to dolphin. And then from dolphin pose, we start to shift forward and back. So we start to build the strength here now in the shoulders. You can do exactly the same on the hands and knees, shifting forward and back. Eventually curling those toes, lifting knees, and taking 5 dolphin dips in your own variation for 1. Breathing in to come forward, exhaling, taking it back for 2. Remember that you're breathing slowly if you need to drop to the knees for the next 3 or 2. Got 2 more. Notice how that feels in your body. When you've taken 5, drop back to the knees, child's pose. Give the wrists a little bit of love, so just slide the elbows in a little, bend the elbows, and just move those wrists. Move the hands, do what you need. And then just to break it down a little further again, we come into that forearm down dog known as dolphin. And after we've done those dips and we feel quite strong, eventually we'll start to gain flexibility in the hamstrings. And this will require chest opening, that upper area there, which is why we interlock the hands behind the back. And also flexibility in the backs of the legs, because we want to start to walk forward and eventually our shoulders will line up with our elbows. So we come to this position, we zip the belly in and we take it back. So you want to zip the belly in, come onto tippy toes, and this is quite strong. Exhale back. If not, tackle some of the dolphin dips on your knees, or on your toes. So doing another set of what you did before, or staying with me. Just take 3 more. Try to keep those elbows hugging in, minus sling out just a fraction, that's okay. When you've done 5, drop to the knees. You can sit on the heels or stay in child's pose. You can just bring some love into those arms, wrists, hands. Just notice where you feel it. We're all going to feel things in slightly different areas of the body, although we are working the shoulders. Now, please ensure that there is no pain in your body. So if you're experiencing pain, come out of the pose. If it's just that slight discomfort, the body strengthening, it's fine. Just go with it. You'll know the difference. So Pincha, Mayarasana, that forearm balance. Eventually, then what you'll do is start to lift a leg up. You'll walk the feet in, you'll lift a leg. You might even lift on the toe and lower the heel on that standing leg. And then you can repeat on the other side. I'm just showing you a faster version. You might want to do 5. And then eventually there might be tiny, tiny, tiny controlled little bounces, little hops. Notice what's going on in the shoulders. Sometimes we let the ego take over. So particularly in poses that we start to build strength in, and we just start to then throw the body up without being conscious of the body. So always being aware that you're in control of your body and you're not just throwing it in space. Chances are you'll probably fall and topple over, which is why we have wall space. So you can then start to tackle your pose on the wall. So your forearms will come down, you'll come into that shape, and then you might add those little hops, and then you'll know that the wall is there. And then you can start to build the strength on the wall. And then eventually you'll start to come off the wall, and then you'll see if the body wants to stay. Using the wall is a great option. You might even take that back bend and come into that shape that you see on the wall, coming more towards the scorpion where the toes touch the head. So using the wall first and foremost, and then once you start to notice that you're able to support yourself without the wall, you'll one day notice that you can just do it on your mat. But I wouldn't recommend just throwing the legs up if you've got no support. So if you know that you are strong enough to just slowly support the body as you gently come up onto the wall, you're more than welcome to come into that. Please remember, safety is the most important part. So start with the most basic part first and build up. Don't let the ego take over. So that is ahamkara, the part of us that constructs a sense of self, this part of us that says, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Center yourself. Yoga is all about coming home to you first. So I hope this little tutorial was helpful for you. My name is Eva. If you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, please call out. If there's anything else you would like to have broken down, or if you'd like a little more information on what I offered, please reach out. So have a beautiful day or evening. Namaste.